Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at ComEd.com/clean. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Thanks for staying up with us. We appreciate that. Hawks lose 4-1 to the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, as we all sort of predicted in the pregame show. Hey, do us a favor. Smash that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, follow, subscribe, and please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So, Connor Bedard scored. That was cool.
That's sick.
It's a good goal.
It was a nice goal.
Sick.
Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
We also got to hear about it about two seconds before it happened.
Yeah.
Man, ESPN is just bad at everything.
They did fix it for the third, so thanks for
Wonderful.
that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
2 hours after the game started.
You fixed it just in time for me to really stop paying attention to what was going on. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a tough one, and as we predicted, without Seth Jones, without Kevin Korchinski, and the team, their souls just crushed because Boris Kachuk got sent down. You knew they were going to be up against it. Not to mention, the Oilers are red freaking hot. Connor McDavid's on fire. They are
all thanks to Chris Knobloch.
Yeah, they are ramping themselves back up into playoff position, and before long, they're going to be a contender again, like we all thought they were to start the season. So they were up against it, and look, solid first period. They score first for the 5th game in a row.
How about that?
And I don't want to say dominating, but they were the better team in the first period. Then I think the Oilers woke up a little bit, put their foot on the gas a little bit, and the Hawks just could not keep up for 60 minutes, and it really showed in the second and third.
Yeah, they got the clamps put on them real fast after that. Getting out to the 1-0 lead. Oilers tie it up. What was it, like 5 minutes later?
Yeah.
And they go into the first intermission up 2-1. Like we talked about on the pregame show, the fact that this game wasn't like 9-1, like that's for this roster in playing against this Oilers team, like. A 4-1 game is like, you know what? That was pretty much expected. And I think what you take away from this is individual performances. Like Connor Bedard, like I don't know how much more of a he's the only one out there performance.
Really, it's true.
Than tonight. Like, as much as this game and the broadcast booked it as Connor versus Connor and all the attention was on McDavid and Bedard and whatnot. For Bedard, and the Blackhawks, it's really like, well, who else are you going to focus on?
Yeah,
like you look at not only from like a media perspective of like a national media perspective, but also how the Oilers and how most teams can play against this team. You focus on shutting down Connor Bedard, and then let the rest of the team beat you if they can, and most times they don't.
They can't.
So, he's the only guy consistently a threat on this team, and that's all teams have to worry about. And so, with the Oilers, they locked him down after, about midway through that first period. There was a number of times where he had opportunities to take the puck to the net, and a much bigger, stronger Evan Bouchard knocked him down a few times, but he's got no help out there. It's almost by design. He's got to try and create everything on his own. So, credit to him scoring an awesome, physically, bending physics goal. But that's the best you can ask for from this team.
Yeah,
just one highlight a night. That's all you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen this script play out. Bedard scores early, and you can turn it off after that.
Yeah,
it's
really.
all. I mean, this is exactly the type of game I said I wanted to see in the pregame show. Just go out there and play hard, do what you can. and you lose, but you tried. What's to be mad at? And that's what happened. I mean, they had the early goal. They played well in the first period, and then it was just, the Oilers just kind of methodically said, "Screw it, we're gonna wait for our all-world player."
Yeah.
To make some incredible passes, and then, look, we're going to score on a backdoor play on a power play, too, because that never happens.
It usually helps. He got some help from Nikita Zaitsev, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. He's
he's trying to bring up a play.
Yeah, it's not like he turned around and shot the puck into the net.
Seabrook did. Brent Seabrook did that at least 7 times in his career.
Yeah, right.
So, I felt bad for Zaitsev because he's been playing okay hockey since he's had to be in here these last few games.
And that's above expectations for him.
Yeah, I mean, again, as we've mentioned many times, the biggest knock on Zaitsev is he's getting paid way too much for what he brings.
Mm-hmm.
But
doesn't matter here, though.
No, it doesn't. And we didn't, it wasn't anybody in Chicago that signed him to that contract.
Yeah.
So, he's been playing well. So it sucked that had to happen, but grand scheme of things, it didn't cost him anything. It's not like the game was tied when that happened or anything.
Right, yeah.
Blackhawks weren't scoring another goal tonight.
No, they had
Bedard.
I mean, they got that late power play, and they gave up 3 shots, and they only had 1.
They had 2 third-period power plays combined for 1 shot on goal.
Yeah, and they gave up at least 4 or 5 shots against.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you what happens when you don't have a legit power play quarterback on your roster, which they don't right now.
Yeah, that
Jones
hurts.
is out, Korchinski's out.
That's it.
I mean, I know
you had Zaitsev on the power play.
Yeah,
that's one for the file.
That's not what you want to do. And I know Vlasic was playing there, and he's done that in Rockford, but it's a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about what you expected for tonight. They played hard. They put in the effort. The talent's not there.
No, that's
on
true.
to the next one.
Yeah, well, it wasn't anything that you can be upset about. Like they phoned it in. Like, no,
they just got outclassed. It was
they're just
a
not
cup
as
contender versus a borderline AHL team.
Yeah,
starring Connor Bedard
and a team that is on now an 8-game heater. Like sometimes when you're feeling it, and when the Oilers are feeling it, that's 2 of the top 5 best players on the planet playing together and making a difference. And Zach Hyman scoring 12 goals in 13 games. Like Stuart Skinner, Stuart Skinner having a complete Jekyll and Hyde season.
He's playing better.
So it's
this
just
team
what's going to happen.
around when Connor McDavid's ribs healed.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Like he was obviously injured. He missed that game or 2.
Then he raced back
and when
for
he
the
came
Heritage
back,
Classic.
and he wasn't the same player.
Yeah.
So Connor McDavid's injury got Jay Woodcroft fired.
There you go.
Pretty much.
Way to go, ribs.
And Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell letting beach balls in behind him.
Yeah.
That's not helpful either.
But Jack Campbell, that's still I still can't believe Ken Holland, the most overrated GM in the history of GMs, gave that guy that kind of deal.
Hey, what we do after every game is we let you vote for the 4-star of the game. So here's the 3 stars. The Hawks played against Sam Gagner, so you knew he was getting a star. He's the 3rd star with a goal and an assist. Evan Bouchard for the Oilers had 2 assists. He's the number 2 star. And number 1 star, you guessed it, Connor McDavid with 2 assists. So here are your nominees for the 4 stars of the game. Connor Murphy, really nice bounce-back game, 22-45 from him. +1, 4 shots, 6 hits, and 2 block shots. Alex Vlasic had an assist, a career-high 24-58 of ice time, a shot, 3 hits, and 4 block shots. And Connor Bedard with a goal, 2 shots on goal, 5 shot attempts, 19-27 of ice time. So those are your nominees. Get your votes in, and we'll reveal it at the end of the show. I think we know how this one's going to go, but hey, it's still fun to have the votes. So we'll get to that and make sure you get your votes in. But
career high in minutes for Vlasic, right?
Yeah.
Someone had to do it. Well, he answered the
really
bell.
Good, but we've talked a lot about Vlasic this year, and I'm not pushing it away, but Connor Murphy's really struggled this year.
Yeah. And
in a game where he was sort of called upon to be the veteran guy, to be the best stay-at-home defenseman, probably aside from Vlasic, I think he stepped up and had a pretty solid game here. I mean, look, anytime you play a team as fast and as skilled as the Oilers, there's going to be those times where you look slow and look beat. But overall, very pleased with the way Connor Murphy played, and it's one game, but hopefully this can get him kind of back to the Connor Murphy we're used to, where you say, hey, when number 5's on the ice, I feel confident that something horrible is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty low bar.
Yeah.
No, Murphy had a good night. 22-45. He was the only Blackhawk to have a plus in the plus-minus category.
Nice.
4 shots on goal, which is a lot for him. Actually, that led the team. Not a good sign when Connor Murphy's leading your team in shots. He had 6 hits and 2 block shots. I mean, that's a good game for Connor Murphy. I was impressed with the defense, the 6 defensemen as a whole. There was really not. I mean, Crevier kind of got clowned on the one goal, but that's a young player making a mistake. It happens. He was due for one of those.
Yeah.
Yes, you had the own goal on Zaitsev, but he was trying to make the right play. He was trying to break up a pass. Bad luck. Overall,
It's tough.
they didn't look like, oh my God, this is going to be like a dumpster fire. They were solid.
If you were tuning into this game, right, as a casual fan, hey, Bedard versus McDavid, cool, I'm going to watch this game. You did not see our favorite reference, the Spaceballs gif with one hand holding out. Like, the Hawks were competitive. They were in it. They just can't generate the kind of offense that the Oilers can, and they can't generate the chances. They just don't have the skill. You had a 3-on-1, and Taylor Radish can't corral the puck and even get a shot off.
Yeah, it was Tyler Johnson's fault for passing it to Taylor Radish.
There's so many moments like that in the course of a game where, a pass is just off. And look, like the other guy in this team that we all thought was going to provide offense, Lucas Reichel, another night of being an absolute non-factor.
And it's not even worth mentioning him that he's a non-factor. Like, why bother? We say it every game.
He had 1 shot attempt in this entire game.
It's the same thing over and over again, and we get here, and everybody in the chat wants to send him to Rockford. So send him to Rockford already, for crying out loud. Like it's not happening here.
There's not much more to say about it. I mean,
it's not happening here right now. I'm not writing him off. I'm not saying he's never going to be an NHL player, but it's just not happening right now. He needs something else.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing if he's not producing, but like he's snake bitten. Like, he's got 4 shots on goal. He's making saves, or he's hitting the post.
Well, we're seeing it with Seth Jones. He's second on the team in shots and just hasn't scored yet.
He's having 1 shot attempt a night. That's not getting it done.
Yeah.
Yes, 1 shot attempt a night.
That's horrible.
That's not going to get it done.
And trying to jumpstart him by playing him on the 4th line is doing him no favors. You scratched him, so you've played that card. I don't know.
And he hasn't responded. Like, the next game after the scratch, you're like, okay, he's slightly more noticeable. He still wasn't a difference maker in any way. Mm-hmm. He's just a guy that's out there. And there's just nothing. He's not dangerous with the puck. As soon as he makes contact with a player, the puck's gone. There's no fight in his game. There's no determination in him taking and controlling the puck. When we saw him up here last year, he was determined to show that he belonged. He was tired of getting sent back down and wanted to show that he belonged. There was no pressure on him, right? Because there was no expectations. Everybody had been traded. And he went out at the end of the year and was solid. Well. We're like, all right, shit, he's here. Great. Mm-hmm. All right, Reichel, check. Right? He'll be ready to go next year. We can count on him for 35 to 50 points, hopefully. Nothing. He is a complete non-factor. He's right up there with, like, Cole Gutman. Nothing against him, but that's not where he should be. Mm-hmm. He should be a guy that you notice every night and that the other team should be worried about. They're not worried about Lucas Reichel.
I noticed Cole Gutman more than I noticed Lucas Reichel's tonight, and that consistently has been a problem. And I don't know what more Luke Richardson can do schematically to try and get the most out of Reichel, trying to match him up with different combinations. You put him back at wing, took him off of center, put him back at center, put him back at wing. Up the lineup, down the lineup, sit in the press box, get back in the lineup. The next thing you can do to try and motivate him is say you're not an NHL player right now. You have to go back to Rockford and figure it out. And at the beginning of the season, if we had said Lucas Reichel is going to go back to Rockford, like that was going to be a possibility.
28 games into the year.
Yeah, before Christmas, like I think we all would have thought that was the most insane thing we ever heard of. Now, given the way he's been playing, I mean, yeah, if that's what you have to do, you have to get something out of him, and if it's just not there, what boggles my mind is he's in a contract year. Like, I know it's RFA, so it's different. Not like he's playing for a long extension, but like if he put up 30, 40, 50 points this year, he was going to get invested in by this organization. Like, I think we've all just kind of been waiting on, like, okay, yeah, when is Reichel solidifying himself in this organization? We all expected it to be this year. Maybe he even expected it to be this year, and that's what's gotten him in trouble, is that he expected to just have success without actually like having to need the fire in his game to go out and prove it. But he's going into his second contract, and his dollar value right now in his pocket, in his wallet, should be the motivating factor, because his second contract is going down.
How do you justify betting on him in any way, shape, or form? And say like, we still think you can beat something. Here's $2 million. I'm not
giving him Kurashev's contract.
And I'm also
right now.
I'm also not ready to completely give up on him. I think we're seeing a guy who is completely fried up top and has no confidence and just doesn't know what the hell to do to get himself out of this. But at the same time, like, he is not. Nobody on this team has a roster spot just because, right? Like, you shouldn't just have one regardless of how you play.
Yeah.
And if he was Joe Schmo, who was called up from Rockford last year, there's no way he'd still be on this team. If anything, his draft status and what he put together at the end of last year is the only reason he's still playing right now.
That's the goodwill that he's kind of
right. But how much
of that
is left?
He's here because of his potential and their desperate need for anybody besides number 98 to create some sort of offense. It's just not happening. And I know the popular move here is to send him down and let's throw Colton Dach right to the NHL. There is nothing wrong with letting a kid play more in the AHL. He's played.
Yeah, everyone's going to say, you said that about Reichel.
He's played 16 professional games.
Yeah. If you're trying to send
I know
a message,
we all want our shiny new toys. Yeah. No, if Reichel goes down, it's because Colin Blackwell and Andreas Anthony are coming back.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, to have Anthony back would be great, because this team lacks even just speed to try and motivate them.
Anthony is not the best finisher in the world, and Lord knows we
just somebody to win a foot race.
But he's got NHL speed.
Yeah,
he can create something.
Yep,
you could put him on Bedard's line and at least have a guy out there that can take a defenseman with him and create some space for Connor Bedard, so he doesn't have to do everything on his own. All I see is Bedard gets the puck taken away too fast. Yes, because he's constantly having to skate through three guys because he's the only guy that the defense is going to focus on.
Yep.
Right.
So, of course, he's getting the puck taken away from him all the time. But if you get an Anthony Ciu out there, all of a sudden one of those defensemen has to pay attention to him, or he will have a breakaway, and he will score on one of his every eight breakaways.
We got a quote here from Luke on Reichel. This is from Mark Lazarus. Quote, he's got to have more fight in him. I think we saw that one of the first games back after sitting out. He knew that and said all the right things. I think he's just down on himself.
Did Richardson say that, or did you say that, Jay? Because that sounds exactly like what you
that's
just
what
said.
Luke said.
It's been obvious for a while that his biggest problem is between his own ears, and you gotta do something for him. Let him have a reset. Let him get away from the team for a while. 2-3 weeks ago, I was not a fan of the idea of sending him down. I didn't think that would I thought that would hurt his confidence, but he has no confidence.
At some point, there's got to be accountability.
Here's more from Richardson on Reichel. This is from Ben Pope, so it's what you just said, but also he says it's pretty hard for a coach to give a player confidence. All we can do is show them some pointers. He's a young player, and there's going to be ups and downs. We're going to stick with him.
That's a vote of confidence.
So there's an answer that says the send down to Rockford is likely not going to be happening right now. But I think if you send him down to Rockford, it's not to swap him out for another young guy in Colton Dock. I think it's let him play with some of these young guys that are supposed to be part of this new nucleus that's coming together, and bring up. And if you're doing it, you're kind of sending a message too, like, hey, we want guys that are going to be here that can have some fire, have some jump. If you send down Reichel, you're probably bringing up a guy like Brett Seney or David Gust. Like, I know that's not sexy to anybody, but like that's kind of the messaging.
No, yeah, I agree. You let the young kids, as they say, let them cook.
Yeah.
Let them cook down in the AHL. There's nothing wrong with letting those guys play AHL hockey. I know we see and we go, oh, look, Colton Dock had a goal. Well, nobody on the Ice Hogs have had much goals lately.
They've been bad recently.
They've been bad, but they're missing guys. They David Gust has been out. Anders Bjork has been out. Those are their two top scorers. Mm-hmm. They've been missing them. And Gutman has been here, and Anderson has been here. Those are big. That's what I'm saying. When they sent
Anderson has played his way into being a regular.
He's
not going down anytime soon.
He's not going back to Rockford anytime soon. He's the exact type of player that Luke Richardson wants right now. Mm-hmm. So when they sent Boris Kachuk down to Rockford, they need him. He's going to be on the top line down there.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, but before we do, Luke's saying we're going to stick with him.
Well,
I don't know if that's a throwaway line. I think that is a coach saying maybe he's afraid he's going to get sent down. And if we say out loud we're not going to, maybe that fixes him a little bit. Maybe that motivates him a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that gets him out of his head a little bit because maybe he just feels like he's looking over his shoulder 24/7 and the next mistake he makes is going to be his last. And he's going to go back to Rockford. Wow. Him saying we're going to stick with him, that's a vote of confidence. Now, he didn't say how long. If there's 5 more games like this, 10 more games like this, at some point – you kind of have to pull the kid aside and say, look, we've tried everything for you, and it's not working. We're not giving up on you as a player, even if maybe you are. You got to say you're not. And we're going to send you down, get you refreshed a little bit, have you experience some success, and you'll be back up soon. But eventually, you can't just let it continue this way. You cannot. Absolutely not. All right, let's take our first break because we are behind, and we're going to tell you about our friends at CIRCA SPORTSBOOK. It is awesome. It's such a great site. Why? Because they've got tight money line splits and that low model hold. Their games strive to be a -110 split on a CIRCA Sports menu, unlike other sports books, which may use -115 or -120 splits. That's just awful. CIRCA Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets like futures, golf tournaments, etc., especially compared to other sports books. They have high app limits and transparency. CIRCA Sports does not limit you if you're a good gambler. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. CIRCA encourages bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available, compare the lines from each sports book, and when you do, they're confident you'll be pleased with what CIRCA has to offer. There are real people behind the brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books that use those awful chatbots that will soon be ruling the world. All aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main CIRCA Sportsbook at CIRCA Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Hopefully we'll be there next summer. Download the CIRCA Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for CIRCA events, watch parties, and tailgates. And if you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 800-GAMBLER. That's 800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyourellywinning.com.
And hey, if you are winning, you can spend money on brand new flooring, and you can do it with our friends at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed, so competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does, they are putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. And they keep shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. They also have the virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space, and it's really easy to use. All you do is take a picture of your room with your floor that you want to replace and instantly see how the new floor will look in that room. And Empire prides themselves on their convenient shop-at-home service, helping customers shop for floors where they use their floors so they can see exactly what the new floors are going to look like in their home's lighting and with their decor, and so you can make the most informed decision. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All CHGO listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
Hey, by the way, next Tuesday, the 19th, we have a watch party.
We do.
Out at Broken Barrel, 2548 North Southport Avenue.
Who broke it?
With our friends at Goose Island. No RSVP things set up just yet. You just show up, hang out with us. We'll be there at 7:30 for Hawks and Avs. Should be a really good time. We'll do a live post-game show as well. So make sure you are there with us Tuesday at Broken Barrel, 2548 2548 North Southport Avenue in Chicago. I just short-circuited there a little bit.
Nice.
Maybe because it's 12:15 in the morning.
That's no longer your birthday.
It is. You're right. It's no longer my birthday. Thank God.
Every day is our birthday. Getting to work with you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Aw.
Thank you.
There you go.
That was nice. I know we got a super chat. Let's knock that out. Maybe we have a couple. Just the one. Lebowski5 says, $2 super chat. What if Reichel is Jack Skilly?
Well, we're going to get Michael Furleek then, and that won't be that bad.
There you go.
Sweet.
I don't think he's Jack Skilly.
No.
He's faster than Jack Skilly.
And there's already been like a sustained period of success from him.
Yeah, Jack Skilly never had that eight-game stretch that, yeah.
I would like to think he's going to be better than Jack Skilly.
Jack Skilly, why you got to go there? That's a bad one.
Yeah.
I mean, I was excited at the time.
Yeah, because he was a Badger.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Burrish would have been the better of the
Not me.
Greatest Badger in Blackhawks history, right?
Joe Pavelski one day.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He's pretty
Hopefully.
good. I can't believe he's still as good as he is. When Pavelski signed that deal, I'm like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
He's old. Nope, he's been good. I think he signed another contract since
He's
the one I
still
left at.
tipping pucks and chucking nucks.
Giving
some fucks. Yeah. Getting in the inner slot.
Lots of people mentioning Jason Dickinson wearing the A today, which
cool.
I think is meaningful. Luke Richardson talked about that, said he's shown that he deserves the way he's played and his leadership and talking on the bench in the timeouts. All right. He's a bit of a leader. We know that about Jason Dickinson. And just covering the team, being in the room, like Jason Dickinson's always a guy you can go to for something insightful. I know we all like default to Nick Foligno, and rightfully so. He's great. But Dickinson is always insightful and thoughtful in his answers and clearly a leader in that room. And that's what, as we identify the guys that, who's going to be here, I think he's one of them. I like him a lot.
I would be very surprised if Jason Dickinson is not here beyond this season. Very surprised.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he's not a trade chip at the deadline. The way he's playing, the kind of role that he plays, and the cost that he would be to a contender by trade deadline time. I mean, if he keeps it up into February, like he's a perfect guy to for a contender to kind of solidify a fourth line role with. If they're looking for someone to fill that role to put them over the hump, like he's a perfect guy to look for that.
Yeah, but for me, at some point, you got to start keeping guys. Like it can't be last year's trade deadline all over again.
No,
like
I'm not saying it's a fire sale, but if you make a move,
if someone's gonna be a first round pick for Dickinson, I'm listening. But beyond that,
sure, but I don't know if you're going to get.
What are the odds you're going to get a second round pick as good as him?
Yeah, I think if someone is calling about Jason Dickinson or Nick Foligno or whoever, you listen. If it's like I'm going to give you a conditional fifth for Jason Dickinson, then you're going to say no. You have to make it more worth your while. But I think if a team is out there that makes it worth your while, sure.
I just wonder what his, I wonder how he's viewed. We talk about this all the time where, bad teams have to have somebody that scores. right? Like teams are going to score goals. They're going to get power plays. They're going to get shots on goal. Someone has to put the puck in the net at some point. Last year was Taylor Radish. This year, I'm not taking anything away from Dickinson. I'm saying I wonder if that's the thought about him around the league is that, well, he's scoring because someone has to. I like him. I want him around. Anything less than like a high second round pick, I'm just hanging up the phone.
I mean, he's doing this kind of the same thing that Domi took advantage of last year, where he wasn't playing on top line anywhere else in the league.
Right.
So he got the opportunity here in Chicago, produced, was moved at the deadline, and fell down the lineup for a team with more talent and more cup aspirations. Dickinson's a great third-line player on this team. I think on a contender, he's a great fourth-line player. So yeah, I think if there's a team looking to try and get a player like that for a reasonable offer, I think you look at it. And he's a UFA at the end of the year, so you always can have the narrative of he'll come back to Chicago.
Yeah, that worked
maybe.
out well for Max Domi.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I understand your point of at some point guys need to stick around. I don't know. I talked about it before we did the pregame show, how having the last week being sick and kind of not being in the locker room, not being around this team 24/7 kind of gave me a different perspective on this team. Like I agree with the point of at some point you have to have some guys stick around. I'm just looking at it now and I'm like, are any of those guys on this roster now? Because like there's guys that you like, there's guys that you root for, Dickinson, Foligno, Entwistle, all these guys. But the investment in the future is really not those guys.
I just, the way I look at it, though, and they talked about this at the end of the broadcast, right, and I think Ray Ferraro, I know people don't like the ESPN broadcast, but I think Ray Ferraro knows his shit. And he was basically saying, like, you can have all these draft picks and you can have all these guys, but, like, when you get Bedard, there is a bit of we talk about cutting the last year off the rebuild, right? Like, there is a bit of a point of, like, you got to start trying to get something out. You don't want to waste years with him. Maybe this year, maybe next year, fine. But at some point, you're just stockpiling picks. And look, we talk all the time about Nazar and Moore and Del Mastro and Allen and all these guys who are on the way up. Chances are one, maybe two of those guys are going to be what we think they are, right? Like maybe Frank Nazar is when it comes out and he's a really dynamic second-line center, right? And he's a 50, 60-point guy for his whole career. That'd be great. Maybe Oliver Moore just uses his speed and he's like a 40-30 kind of a guy, right? Fine. But chances are the majority of these guys that we really like right now, prospect-wise, are not going to really pan out to be much of anything aside from roster fillers. So I think when you identify somebody like Dickinson, and then he's just an example, I think it makes sense to invest in that a little bit because, look, and then it gives you more time, too, because you've got him. He can play in the middle six right now where the team's at or maybe where they'll be in a year or two. And then as he ages out of that next contract, then maybe you've got someone to come in and take that role or you trade some picks to bring somebody in. I just think it can't just be every year after year after year anything of value you're ditching. Anything you – and I know you're not saying that. I don't want to put words in your mouth that you're not saying. But I'm just like if someone calls and said, I'll give you a third for Dickinson. No. The odds to me that you're going to find a leader that can score, that can play center, that can play wing, that can penalty kill, that could probably do the power play in a pinch. I'm just not really anxious to move on for that guy for another lottery ticket.
Yeah, the Blackhawks have 8 second-round picks in the next 2 drafts.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather have the leadership and the on ice for Dickinson. If you could, if you're talking to him and say, hey, well, what are you thinking about coming back? If he's like, I want to test the market and go play for a contender, then I'd say, okay, then we'll move you.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But if he's interested in coming back, reward him, give him the deal,
sign it now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's another second-round pick when you got 8 of them? I think the value.
Well, some of those picks are going to become currency. Like
Well,
we know
yeah,
that.
I
We know
hope
they're not
so.
making all
I
8
hope
of those
so.
second round
Yeah,
picks.
I wouldn't mind wrapping up a couple of those and sending them out to get some younger players.
You make deals. You can make some deals at this year's draft, next year's draft. You have buttloads of cap space to use this summer and next summer. I think
this draft we're going to see a lot more trades as they've got 7 picks in the first 3 rounds. This year.
You have 2 first-round picks this year.
And
You're
next
going to
year.
use your own. You could trade Tampa's if you want to,
Yep.
make some
And
sort
you've
of
got
deal.
Toronto's first-round pick next year.
And then, so I think if you're looking for players who you're going to try and invest in to be part of the near future and to help Bedard, I think there's ways that you can go in using some of those picks to acquire a player, or using your money to get a top end free agent, or both, that are going to be more beneficial. And yeah, if you move Dickinson or Foligno or whoever for a mid-round pick, maybe it's just a lottery ticket, but I think that can become currency in other moves. And I don't know if, let's say Jason Dickinson on a 3-year, $3 million deal or anything really does anything for this team. It just kind of feels like it's a placeholder. And if we're talking about getting Bedard help, I think you got to aim higher than Dickinson.
Well, yeah, but couldn't it be like, why can't it be both? Like, you could trade for William Nylander. You know what I mean? If the Leafs are like, well, we know we're not going to bring him back, we might as well get something for him.
Mm-hmm.
Or you trade for him before he hits the open market and sign him, maybe. But I don't think that someone like Jason Dickinson, who's probably at best going to sign maybe $3 million.
Yeah, he's not going to prevent you from
I
going
think,
out and getting that big ticket.
and
guy.
then again, if it bumps him down the lineup, you're just making a stronger team. Because at some point, you want Connor Bedard and the rest of these young players like Vlasic and Korchinski and so on to experience a little bit of success. Like, I saw some people in the chat, and I've seen it a lot. Like, every time the Hawks lose, like, Bedard's just going to leave when he becomes a free agent. Don't worry. No, he's not. No, he's not. He understood the reason the Hawks have the first pick is because they were ass. Yeah. And they're going to be ass for a couple years. But
you realize
at the same
he's
time,
not an actual free agent until he's 25.
Right.
So he gets 7 years. So, yeah.
But the thing
And
is,
within
like,
7 years, you're going to have actual help.
Tell me you don't know how NHL contracts work without.
See, to me, if he sees a guy like Dickinson moved on from, that to me would be like, it's not going to make or break him signing here. I'm not saying that, but I can see him saying, like, what's the deal here? What are we doing? Like, this is a guy that is valuable.
I think he's got to know the deal. I think he's got to know the deal. This is Kyle Davidson's very transparent about rebuilding and long-term planning. I don't think Bedard came in day one and said, wait a minute, what do you mean there's no one here to play with me? Like, he has to know the deal of what he's going into, and he has to know that this year was not about wins and losses. And they brought in Foligno, they brought in Perry, they brought in Taylor Hall, Ryan Donato. Like, these are all guys that they brought in to try and help insulate things. Hall's gone for the year. That's out of their control. Perry is now gone again. Is gone for, reasons we already covered. Donato, he's been fine. Nick Foligno's been great. He's a guy you like. He's been playing his role perfectly. So they did the attempt to bring him in help this year, and things just kind of got out of, things out of their control got in the way. Athanasiou's been hurt, so that hurts you too. So it's not like they didn't try to have some guys around him this year. It's just things just haven't been working out. But I think down the road, you look at next year, you look at the year after, again, you can be active in the summer. You have to have space for guys that are going to be coming up. Allen and Del Mastro and Camezzo and Nazar eventually, and Doc and Rinzel in a few years, and Oliver Moore in a few. Like, sure, maybe not all of them hit their potential, but I'd like to think a handful of them do. If you get 6 of these guys that we're constantly looking at, you get 4 or 5 out of these like 8 guys that are like the top tier guys that we keep looking at. That's help. That's going to be help, and that's all going to be guys in that same range. The last 3 years of trying to build this nucleus of guys coming in, whoever they're going to pick this year with their first pick, Celebrini, Yzerman, Levshinov, all those guys that are in that mix in the top 5, which they're likely going to be picking in, they're going to be part of that too, and quicker than not. So I think there's a ton of help coming. It's just this year with injuries and with other situations, all the help that you brought is kind of gone. So it's just bad. It's just unfortunate circumstance that Bedard's now in the spot where it's just like, it's me and Philip Kurashev.
Yeah.
Who else is going to do anything?
I know what you're saying. And like, look, well, and we should take a break again, too, so we can finish our segments and wrap the show up. But, like, it's the more you rely on rookies to come up, because, like, then you get into, like, the Ludwinski territory and Green and those kind of guys, like those second-tier kind of guys. And you're like, well, we think they're going to be something, too. All that's happening is Connor Bedard's getting older and older, and these rookies keep joining him in flow, but then they all need time to develop. Even if it's not Dickinson, they've got to start, and it's got to start this summer, supplementing with this team with experienced players that matter and will matter down the road. It cannot just be rookie. Like, again, the vast majority of these guys are going to be dudes. I think one of Nazar or more is going to be a star. Maybe not both. I think Korchinski's going to be great. We already know Vlasic is very good. The rest of it, to me, it's all a giant question mark. So it can't just be, let's wait for all these kids. There's very few organizations that just hit on every draft pick. Boom, 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 where they all just pile up and are all great. And if that happens, sweet. You've got a bunch of veterans that you can flip and bring in the next wave of great Blackhawks through the draft. But I think you can't just assume all these young players are going to be good and join Connor Bedard in stride. You got to start supplementing. And again, like you said, Mario, had this team remained healthy or out of trouble with Perry and Hall and Athanasiou, etc., it is a significantly better team than it is right now.
It would look a lot different.
Yes, it would look a lot different. So I'm not saying that Davidson hasn't been doing that, but I'm just no longer in a hurry to say, take everybody. Take everyone, everything's for sale except Connor Bedard and Korchinski. I don't like that mindset anymore. It is time to start thinking about 2-3 years from now competing, not for a cup, but like playing games that matter and legitimately targeting a playoff spot. That's all. All right. Things. Yeah. Goose Island. Am I doing that one?
No, I am.
Nail it.
Yeah, Goose Island, they're the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and they have been Chicago's beer since 1988, and they have an illustrious year-round beer roster that, man, it is one of the best. You talk about competing, it's competing right now, and it is winning all the beer competitions. You got the Full Pocket Pills, the everyday beer that the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. You have the entire family of the Beer Hug IPAs. You have the 312, the golden cans of the wheat ale, the staple of Goose Island's beer roster. And you have their lovely seasonals. Right now it is the Christmas IPA season. And if you want to support the Bulls and the Blackhawks through your beer drinking habits, you can grab a Blackhawks Pale Ale or a Bull and Goose, a West Side Ale celebrating the Bulls, Blackhawks Pale Ale, obviously celebrating the Blackhawks. You can get all of these ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers and more at Goose Island's original brewhouse on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that's the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
And, as we told you to start the show, it's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
Oh, yeah. The electric grid. Let me start that.
He gets so excited.
It's 1 a.m. Leave me alone. Yeah, the electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you make the changes that make the most sense.
Greg, what should business owners do?
Well, they should go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait.
Yeah, Charlie.
Well, wait till after this show. But don't wait after that. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet. That's good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Yeah. He said ComEd.com/clean.
You're damn right I did. Go now after the show and see how electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come. There's a really weird comma in the middle of that sentence that almost threw that read out the door.
All right, segment time. Are we ready to call the 4-star?
Yeah, this one might be one of our biggest runaways yet.
Really?
Is it 100%?
It's not 100%, but it is pretty egregious. It's set with the 78% of the vote. It's Connor Bedard for our second straight 4-star.
All right, no new graphic. Way to go.
Steven has appreciated that he didn't have to change the graphic.
Steven just hammers Connor Bedard the entire show from all the different accounts, so he doesn't have to make a new graphic.
Yeah,
we see how it is.
I mean, he struggled with the graphics in the pregame. So this
was a nice little break for me.
This
You're not
could be
kidding.
a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, we told everybody, like, hey, vote for Bedard, so Steven didn't make another graphic. It's been a rough day for him. All right, Connor Bedard is your 4-star of the game, so why don't we go into Connor's Corner and tell you what he did.
Some happy music.
It is some time for some happy music. Connor Bedard ended the game with a goal, 2 shots on goal, 5 shot attempts, 19-27 of ice time. And I found this funny. When asked about the goal, this is from Ben Pope, Connor Bedard said, just had a shot, and it went in. Come on, man. It's okay to say you had a good shot. That was a sick freaking goal.
I mean, he could care less if he scored and they lose.
Yeah. He hates to lose.
He just wants to win.
He hates to lose. That's for sure. Yeah, he's been good. And there was a really good piece in The Athletic today. I forget who wrote it. Just kind of comparing Bedard's rookie season to all the other dynamic rookies.
It's from our friend Dom.
It was Dom yeah, comparing him to Matthews and
The chart
McDavid and all those great first overall picks. And Bedard is right where you think he is, except for the stats that rely upon teammates. And then they're not so good.
Yeah. Well, and his defense, but it's not his calling card.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of wins and losses, I think we talked about wins and losses in the last 2 minutes.
Sure we did.
The San Jose Sharks beat the Winnipeg Jets, so the Blackhawks are dead last again on their own. Woohoo!
Hey, we got to get to that 3 spot. That's the
lucky
yeah.
spot.
We got to
Yeah.
get there so we
right
can prove
in the
that it's
inner
not
slot.
rigged again.
3rd spot.
All right. Well, I see you guys delaying, but because Connor Bedard had such a good game, that means I'm the winner.
Sure
your
are.
Hawk.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, here's your birthday hat.
It's my birthday yesterday.
Let's see if you were.
Yeah,
Let's see if that doesn't.
I gotta get Greg's hair out of here.
How do you know that's my hair?
Well, it's not Mario's. And it's not mine.
Oh,
It could have come off my back, in fairness.
You got it on backwards, sir.
Oh, shit. That might actually fit me
we
better.
don't know if Casey could have thrown it on.
Oh, God, I don't think so.
Did it get bigger? Doesn't
my head grew.
look as tight on your head.
Yeah, I think my head grew a little bit.
Your head shrunk
When
on
it
your
shrink?
birthday.
Yeah, it might have been.
Things
I think
start
that
to
happens when you turn 46.
Yeah, things start to shrink as you get older. I'm told.
Yeah. All right, I'm the winner. I am back on the board.
Hooray.
Thank God.
Ryan's asking a question that would you kick the tires on Verana? No. Jacob Verana's a guy. Like everybody on Twitter yesterday, oh, that's what the Hawks need. No, he's a freaking another placeholder. He's a guy that will play 3 games here, and you'll all say, trade his ass to whoever. Like, no, he had 2 good years playing next to Alex Ovechkin. There's no Alex Ovechkin here.
Yeah.
If the St. Louis Blues, who struggle to score goals, say thanks but no thanks, maybe we should take their lead and say thanks but no thanks.
Speaking of the Blues.
If he played better,
Craig
maybe
Berube would still have a
Berube
job.
would still have
Yeah,
a job.
exactly.
Blues lost. They gave the Detroit Red Wings their first win since Patrick Kane put on the jersey, and the Blues said, that's unacceptable. Get the hell out of here, Berube. They relieved him of his duties.
Take your giant Berubies and get out of here.
Yes.
Relieved of his duties.
See you later, Chief.
Yeah.
So relieved.
Yeah, I mean, look, anytime a name people recognize crosses the waiver wire, we're always asked about
everybody.
it. And I get it.
Liam Foodie and all these guys.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like,
just guys. They're just
they're-
guys. They're
they're-
not. They might help you be entertained a little more game to game, but I just don't think. I don't know.
And
Now,
if-
Philip brings up a name you guys were talking about
Kuzmenko,
before.
if he's available via trade,
Yeah.
he's a guy.
What else do the Canucks want to get rid of?
He's
to
a
us?
guy I would take a peek at. I mean, dude scored 39 goals last year. Yes,
Yeah.
it was shooting 27%, but I would take a look at him depending on the price. He's signed for another year, $5.5 million after this year, which again is not. But That's not an issue for the Hawks. I would take a peek at that.
Sure.
Call up Van. Now, there's no guarantee he's on the market. He's been a healthy scratch, and his playing time is going way down. Under 11 minutes the other night, though he still is on their top power play unit. So that tells me they haven't completely thrown in the towel on him. I mean, Lucas Reichel isn't even getting top power play.
No, he's not.
So
That's true.
He did get 120 in power play time today.
I would,
10% of his
chasing the
ice
puck
time.
in his own
One
zone.
shot attempt.
If Vancouver dangles him out there, you've done business with them before. They're obviously trying to clear cap space.
That's how you got Jason Dickinson too.
Because they've got, a young guy there that's going to need a giant raise coming up soon.
Yep.
And if you can say we'll take on that whole contract for third round pick, one of those 8 second-round picks, I'd do that.
I'm down with that. I would give him one of the later second-round picks.
Kuzmenko and Vrana are the same age, which is weird because Vrana's played.
Feels like he's been around forever.
Well, he has. He's been in the league for a long time, since he was 19.
Yeah.
Kuzmenko didn't come over from Russia till last season.
Yeah.
So
365 games for Verona.
One for every day of the year.
That's true.
yeah. So I would definitely make a move for Kuzmenko if he's there, because he's a guy
Kuzmenko's
that,
got 90 points in 107 games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really good. That's a good player.
Yeah, I mean,
he's-
27% shooting percentage though. Like
No,
that's
not
a heater of
sustainable,
it. He cashed in on a heater of a season. I think if you're Vancouver and you're still trying to figure out cap space, I'm answering the phone and listening to what your interest is in getting rid of him if you are looking to get rid of him. But I mean, again, unless he comes in, and replicates what he did or anything close to it. I mean, it's a cap relief move.
he's still shooting 10%, 10.5% this year. Who's shooting 10.5% on the Blackhawks
Yeah.
right now?
Besides Bedard,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody.
So I would that's the move I would make, because he's a guy that you have him locked up for next year.
Yep.
And then you could, that could be one of those guys you potentially keep around for a couple more years after that. And you have that.
And that's what
have that middle six scoring guy for the next possibly 4 or 5 seasons as you start to compete. That's the type of move you make. If you pick up Verona off of waivers, guess what? He's a placeholder for this year.
Yeah.
I want to start bringing in guys that fit the piece and fit the mold and become guys for just more than just placeholders. I'm tired of placeholders. I want actual guys.
That's it. And that's what Ferraro was talking about at the end of the game was start using some of these picks or prospects to bring in somebody with a little bit of a proven track record in the NHL. And I think I've seen enough from Kuzmenko. I know it's 1 year, but it's 74 points in a year. I mean, yeah, the shooting percentage was high, but it's 39 goals. Like that, you don't just luck into 39
He still had
goals.
34 assists that season too, or 35 assists.
Yeah.
That's nothing to sneeze at either.
And that was a Canucks team that was nowhere near what they are this year.
Yeah.
They're an absolute juggernaut right now. So I don't know. We'll see.
And they're
I'm
a juggernaut,
confident
he's getting
that
scratched.
Davidson is keeping his eye on all available.
Imagine how good they'd be if he's not on the team at all.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
Never lose again.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a move I look at. Not just looking to scrap off guys from waivers.
Right.
There's a reason most guys are on waivers.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, we got to wrap up the show, but first,
Before we go, I just wanted to shout out Waldo was legit here, who took advantage of our diehard.
Oh, nice.
sales.
Heyo.
Nice.
You got the
Nice.
$60 membership. So
You
shout out
are
to Waldo.
legit.
Good job.
Also, since everybody else is doing it, I wanted to wish a very happy birthday to someone special in the Blackhawks community. Andrew Ladd turned 38.
Hey.
Andrew Ladd. All right.
Ooh. Yeah.
Very cool.
Andrew
There
Also,
he is.
Jay
there he is.
Zawaski as well.
God, find the worst picture possible, please.
What is that picture?
I'm sipping a drink from
Sure.
what is that? 2 dots in a dash. Is
3
that the name
dots
of
in a
the place?
dash,
3
yeah.
dots in a dash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that
I creeped
one.
your Facebook a little
I'm
bit for
2
that
of those deep. That's why my
I was
face
going
is
to
so
say,
red.
gonna say.
you've had a few in that picture.
Yeah, I've had a couple. I've had a couple on that one. Well, let's get.
I figured that was a piece of pocket bacon that was photoshopped out of the picture, but yeah.
Oh man! All right. Well, my birthday's over, so too late.
No,
Sorry.
it's not over till we go to bed.
Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
Tell us about.
Hey, are
Ray.
you in the market for a new vehicle? If you are, then we've got great news for you. Our partner, Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fox Lake, is making room on their lot for incoming 2024 vehicles. And you know what that means? You'll be able to shop incredible savings on every new vehicle in stock during their limited time Wrap Up the Year sales event.
Ew.
For a limited time, get up to 15% off new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokees with dealer discount at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. You'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and drive home with more money in your pocket than you expect, thanks to the Ray Price Promise. Don't miss out. Shop great deals all month long and save big, because Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram makes buying a new vehicle more affordable than ever. But that's not all. Just for listening, you can get a free oil change when you mention CHGO at the Service Center, or mention CHGO when you book online at raycdjr/service. Hurry in. You must book before December 31st, 2023. That's New Year's Eve. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, because they are the only team we recommend here at CHGO. Visit them on today. Well, not today. They're closed right now, but you can go in the morning on Route 12 in Fox Lake for more information. You can head over to raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
All right, go do that. We are back tomorrow at 2:30. Fortunately, remote. We think we're going to have one of the dudes from What Chaos on, but they've gone radio silent. They're big time on us already. It's been a month, and we're already on the Pay No Mind list, but that's fine. We'll be back tomorrow at 2:30. We usually do some around the league stuff, not only with What Chaos, some changes to the All-Star game coming up. We're going to get to that tomorrow for sure. So make sure you join us at 2:30 on Wednesday. A reminder, we are presented by ComEd and powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at comed.com/clean. Hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.